Oh, no. Okay, guys, so thank you so much for being here today with me. I really appreciate it. I'm going to give you a little bit of background about myself. I know I've talked to some of you in person already, and now this thing is not moving to the next slide. Oh, there we go. Okay, sorry about that. There we go. So I've been in the business for 24 years. This will make my 24th year. I am licensed in all the states except New York. We specialize in first-time home buyers. We also do a lot of investors as well, but today we're just going to keep it to first-time home buyers because that's what the presentation is for. So I know that the most common programs right now is FHA, VA, conventional, and USDA loans. We also offer what's non-QM, but if you want to know more about those loans or foreign national loans, you can set up a separate one-on-one with me and we'll go over those. So today we'll just keep it brief, just that because the home buying process can be a little bit overwhelming and it shouldn't be. It is the biggest purchase that you're going to make. So it is understandable why it is so stressful for some people. And the fear of owning a home, it's very understandable. But with the right plan in place and guidance, you can do this. And you will love yourself and you will benefit from this. And owning a home, you're always going to pay somewhere, right? You're going to either pay rent for the landlord who has the mortgage, or you're going to pay your own mortgage. So the first thing that I do advise is to get pre-approved. The pre-approval process is very simple process. They'll ask you for the last 2 years of taxes. And again, you don't have to write anything down. I can always email this to you, the documents that they require for the pre-approval. So it would be the last 2 years of your taxes. It will be the last two pay stubs of your current employment if you're employed, or if you receive Social Security, any type of disability, any type of award letter from the Social Security office will ask you for that. The bank is going to ask you to see the last 2 years of your tax, of your not the last 2 years of your taxes. I'm so sorry, your last two W-2s, and they are going to ask to see your bank statements as well. Um, Once we put all that together, we will get you a pre-approval. Normally, it takes us 24 hours to get back to you with the pre-approval, sometimes the same day. Once we do the pre-approval for you, we can either put you with a realtor. If a realtor has referred you to us, then we circle back with the realtor. We get on the same page with the realtor because it's very important that you understand that your realtor and myself are a team. We have to work as a team to make sure that the buying process is smooth as possible for you as a buyer because it is one of the biggest decisions you're going to make. So once you find the home with your real estate agent, you're going to make your offer. And in that offer, the realtor will ask you, how much are you willing to put in escrow? An escrow account with a title company, basically, they're just going to hold. Let's say some people say, I'm going to put $5,000 in escrow, and that's just to secure the property and show the seller that you are invested in this, you have skin in the game. That money gets deducted from whatever your bottom line is. So if you're coming to the closing table, and I'm just going to throw out a number out there to make it simple, you're coming to the closing table with $10,000, but you have $5,000 in escrow, we will go ahead and deduct that. So now you come to the closing table with $5,000. Okay. So that's just your escrow account to just save that property and be able to move on with the process of the financing. Okay. Now, home inspections. After you've put in the check, the title company has received your money to hold this property, the realtor will advise you on getting a home inspection. As the lender, I personally do not need the home inspection. I always encourage you to get a home inspection for your personal mind, for your personal um, just to know if there's something wrong with the home and if you're willing to continue. If you do find something is wrong with the home and it's not that extensive, if you're willing to continue with this purchase, after the home inspection, you are allowed to back out. You have several days. All this will be on your contract. Another reason the home inspection is important is because Mary, insurance agent, will ask for this home inspection. That is how insurances quote you. So they want to know if the house has impact windows, if the doors are up to date, the garage door, little things that come up on this inspection. Okay, so that'll help you get for you to be able to shop around for different quotes. Mary can definitely help in that. And then while all this is going around in the background, we will send everything to underwriting. So those bank statements that we collected, those pay stubs that we collected, we might need a couple of letters of explanation. Some common ones are just for your addresses on your credit report. You might have several different addresses listed, and the underwriter might want to know if you own any of those properties. Did you live there? Did you rent there? Little simple things that we can handle. Okay. And then finally, the underwriter will issue what's called your final approval, and you will get what's called a clear to close, which is music to everybody's ear in the transaction because it means, guess what? We're going to the closing table and you'll have your final walkthrough. You get to look at the house one more time before you go sign to make sure that the sellers have left the house exactly how you saw it. Okay. And then you would get your keys. So that's a little bit in a nutshell of how this works and the process. Now, one of the biggest things that you need to know, and even if you're not purchasing a home today, you should always know where you stand with your credit. This is very important because sometimes we don't check our credit report. And just so you know, you're entitled to one free credit report every year. So an annual credit report every single year. And if you need that link, I can also send that out to you. Um, and it's good to know because you never know. What if you have a collection that you didn't know about? Or what if somebody pulled out a credit card and you have no idea? This will come out on that. And it's good to know where you stand. So as a mortgage broker, we do go below 500, we do go below 580 credit score. Okay. So once you start going 580 credit score or lower, it's not excellent credit, it's actually poor credit, but you can still get financing. Okay. So don't be discouraged. The only difference is that FHA will now tell you that if you have a 580 credit score or lower, you will need to come in with 10% as opposed to how you're normally coming in with 3.5%. Okay. So once you get into the 580 to 669, you have a fair credit score. Okay. Once you start going into the 670 to 739 range, which is where we would like to see all our customers, if possible, you have a good credit score. Okay, this will allow you to get more options, more better interest rate, and possibly a 3 to 5% down payment. Okay. Once you start going into the 740 to 799 and the 800 credit scores, your credit is amazing. You have excellent credit. You've done what needs to be done. You've paid your bills on time. You are rocking with your credit. Okay. So the credit score is very important because it determines our down payment. It determines our interest rate that the bank is going to offer you. Okay. And it determines what kind of program you're going to be able to get, whether you go into an FHA, conventional loan, and we'll go deeper, a little bit deeper into that. So some of the things that you should not do for the credit to be able to manage the credit is, please, once you're pre-approved, do not open any new credit. Opening new credit, they will go ahead and run your credit, which every time you get an inquiry on your credit, every time a every time a credit card runs your credit report, it could drop your credit score. Okay. Do not co-sign for anybody on a car, on a home. This will go against your debt to income ratio as well. Okay. And the other thing that we need to be very cautious about is getting down payment. We do offer 100% financing. We do offer 3%. Those are your low down payment options that we have. But even if you do the 3% or you do the 100% financing, it is very important that you're saving money because you never know. Once you get into a home, you're always going to have expenses. Think about the time that you've moved. into a rental and you've had to get a moving truck, you have to fix the home up, whatever it is, you want to paint it. Now you're the landlord, you're the owner. So if something breaks within the first month of you being there, you're responsible, whether it's the air conditioner, whatever it is. So it's always good. Please get into the habit of, if you're going to buy a home, one of the biggest things that we notice is, and it's pretty, I think it's pretty funny because people don't think about it as much, but eating out, getting that Starbucks coffee every day, those little changes that you can tweak will help you save some money for your down payment. We do offer down payment assistance programs as well, depending on the state. That's something that we can discuss one-on-one. And gift funds. This one is one that people don't realize that you can use. Gift funds comes from an immediate family member, a relative. It could be your spouse, it could be your kids, it can be your parents. It has to be an immediate relative, and they can lend you, let's say, not lend you, they can gift you $10,000, $15,000. There's no limit. They can gift you as much as they would like. And another thing, I don't know, maybe not on this call, but also if you're getting married, I always advise young couples or any couple, instead of doing a registry and getting registered for plates and vases and whatever else, ask for monetary gifts. You can use monetary gifts to purchase a home from your wedding. A lot of people, plates are not going to get you a new home, but money will. So imagine you get $10,000, as a gift from your wedding party. You had about, I don't know, let's say 75 guests, came out to $10,000. You can use that for a down payment on your home. Okay. And again, we'll go over the FHA loan offers 3.5% down once you have a 580 credit score. This is great for first-time home buyers. It gives you a little bit more purchasing power with the debt to income ratio because it allows you to go a little bit higher than conventional does. Now, conventional, as long as you have a 620 or above, you can come in with 3% down. If you give 20% down, you will not have what's called PMI, which is a private mortgage insurance. I'm going to be very honest with you. The private mortgage insurance on these loans are just there to protect the bank. That's all it is. In case you default, they have a reserve just there for this loan. That's pretty much what it is. On FHA, if you're coming in with less than 10% down, you will have this PMI for the rest of the life of this loan unless you refinance it. On conventional, as long as you reach your 20%, you can take it off. Okay. Now, VA loans, 100% financing, one of my favorite loans that's out there. If you are a military veteran, an active military, you can come in with 0% down, and those loans do not have any mortgage insurance. Okay. And then you have your USDA loan. Depending on where in the country you are, we would look at the map and make sure that that property is in a USDA zone. This is rural property. So if you're in a big city like, let's say, Miami, it won't work. We don't have any rural properties. We had a very, very, very small window and we've lost it. But if you're in somewhere, there's several places in Tennessee, there's several places in Georgia, depending that's something we can look on one-on-one. Okay. And then right before you get ready to purchase, like I said before, build your savings. We advise 2 to 3 months of housing costs and reserves because anything can happen. And now you are the landlord, you're the owner of this property, you're responsible for it. Okay. The second thing I tell people is to review your budget, because when you go to get pre-approved, the lender's pre-approving you off what we see on your credit report. So we take what you're making, your income, your debt, and that's what's going to get you. We're going to be able to say, okay, you're approved for a $400,000 home, whatever it is. Now, keep in mind what the lender doesn't see. The lender does not see if you have childcare. Okay, we don't see that. So this is why it's very important that you make a budget, because if you're paying childcare, you need to think about, can I afford my childcare with this new home, with this new mortgage payment that I'm going to be paying? Okay. The lender, we don't see if you're helping a family member in another country. That's very common. There's a lot of things that the lender does not see. So it's very important that you make this budget. Okay. And again, I'll tell you to gather the documents. We already went through that. It's the 2 years of taxes, your W-2s, your pay stubs, and your bank statements. Avoid big purchases. Sometimes we get excited because we're about to purchase a home and we start thinking, oh my God, I need to furnish this home. I don't have a dining room table. It's okay. I don't have enough furniture for people to come over and sit. That's okay. Do not fall into that trap of rooms to go is giving me 0% interest for a year. Do that after you close, not before, because what happens when they run your credit can go down. Okay. You don't want to also get into more debt because that affects your buying power. The more debt on your credit, that's what the lender sees. So no big purchases. Okay. And the biggest thing that we tell people when we're in the middle of taking an application is do not change jobs. Because if you go from being a W-2 employee and you're a mechanic, let's just say, and all of a sudden next month you decide, I want to open up my own body shop, you've now become a self-employed person. And guess what? Your pre-approval is now void. So it's very important that you have an open communication with your lender to avoid these pitfalls. Okay. Changing jobs in the middle of a transaction, can it be done? Absolutely. Just communicate with the lender and let them know what your plan is. Because if you're just going from being I don't know, you work at a bank and you're going from being a teller to being a manager, that's an upgrade. Okay. That means that you're going to be making more money. So that those things are okay, but always communicate any major job changes to the lender, even if you're already pre-approved. Okay. Pre-approvals are good for 90 days. So if something happens in that window, let your loan officer, your mortgage broker know. Okay. And of course, always talk to a mortgage broker and see what's out there for you, what kind of programs you qualify for. Do not start looking. These are just little things that don't let these derail your dreams. So don't skip the pre-approval process. A lot of people tend to go first to the realtor, which is fine. The realtor normally will tell you, okay, I want you to speak to a lender, because the realtor cannot start showing you properties without that pre-approval letter. We don't know if you're pre-approved for 200,000 or you're pre-approved for 500,000. Okay, so that's never skip the pre-approval process. There's no realtor in their right mind that will work with someone that doesn't have a pre-approval. Okay. And again, I know I'm repeating myself, but I will tell you, do not open new credit, do not co-sign for anybody, because this is your pre-approval. We've already pre-approved you with what we see. The bank will know also if you did apply for new credit after I've run the credit. We get an alert, just so you know. If you think the bank won't find out, we will find out. Okay. So making large deposits. Sometimes people keep money in their home and they say, okay, I'm ready to buy this house and I'm going to go ahead and just deposit $5,000 into my account. Well, if you don't have those $5,000 there before we did the pre-approval, let's talk about how would be the best way. Because once you start depositing this, we need to be able to source any large deposits that come into your account that seem unusual. So if you're not constantly depositing cash into your account because of your type of business, a large deposit is unusual and we need to source it. Cash is very hard to source because we don't know where it's coming from. Okay. Again, I know we spoke about the changing jobs mid-process, so I won't touch on that again. I don't advise against skipping the inspection. It is important, not for the lender, but for your insurance company it is, and it is important for your peace of mind. Okay. And don't charge appliances, same thing. Don't go to rooms to go, little things like that, okay, that we've already discussed. And that is pretty much it. I tried to make this as brief as possible because I'm sure that you guys are going to have some questions. So I stopped sharing and I'm going to put in the chat. I think we already put it there for those who came in a little bit later. If you guys have any questions, there is my calendar. You can book an appointment with me. I put it on the chat. On the bottom, you can see my link tree. The link tree will tell you, I have it in both Spanish and English, and it will tell you the documents that we require to get you approved. And also, you can click in there and you can see our reviews of what our past customers and realtors that we worked with are saying about myself and my team. And pretty much just opening up. Does anybody have any questions on anything?
Yep.
Uh,
Hi, I have a question. This is Carrie. Um, my
Carrie?
video isn't working at the moment, so
Don't
I
worry,
apologize for that.
Carrie. Don't worry.
My question is, I know you said don't change jobs, but I just recently found out that I'm not making enough income. So I am working on trying to get my CDL, which is
Okay.
the truck driver's permit. So I'm about to go to school for that. When that's done, my plans are to purchase in the next 3 to 4 months with a good paying job, paying like at least 1,000 a week. What can I then apply, even though I won't have 6 months worth of, well, I'll keep one job because I still have to maintain some kind of income while going to school. But that job, it kind of varies with the paycheck. But can I then purchase in the next 4 months or so?
So we would only be able to work with one income. Okay. If you haven't had the job, two jobs
Hmm.
consecutively for 2 years, we can only use one income. The bank likes to see that you're able to handle two jobs for 2 years. So if you have, let's say, you're going to keep the first job and you're going to do the CDL on the weekends or nighttime, if you have it for 2 years, we can use the CDL one. If you don't have it for 2 years, we can only use one of the other. Now, if the CDL job and you become a truck driver and it's a W-2, we can use that one if you're going to be making more income than your first job. So let's just say your first job is variable and you end up making 30,000, $40,000 a year on that job. But the CDL license one, you're a W-2, you're going to go work for, I don't know, Walmart, and they're going to pay you $80,000. Let's use the one that pays the most. Now,
Okay, good. That's
some
that's that's the
CDL,
question.
okay, just so you know, some CDLs pay as a 1099. If you go as a
Hmm.
1099, we will require 2 years in that line of business. Okay.
Okay.
Now, we do have some non-QM products that will allow you to use 12 months of those bank statements, but we can go ahead and talk about that one-on-one once we start getting into getting you pre-approved
Okay.
for that. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Of course, Carrie. Thank you for being here. I
Appreciate it.
appreciate it.
Problem.
Can you guys see on the chat the links that I put? Yes? Okay, perfect. Good. So anybody have any other questions? I know we're only four of us. It's a small group, but don't be shy if you have any other questions. Okay, well, if you guys would like to, Mary, if you would like, you can also put in the chat your information. And maybe if they need a quote for some insurance for their home
Thank
or
you.
their auto, please, Mary, feel free.
Oops. Will do. You have quite a few programs, which is awesome sauce. You
Yes,
know,
we do have a lot of programs and I didn't get into a big suite of them because this is just for first-time home buyers, but we do a lot of foreign nationals as well. People from Canada, Italy, we get a lot of people from the Caribbean, Mexico. So we do a lot of foreign nationals as well. We do a lot of reverse mortgage.
that's a good one. That's a good
Mhm.
one
We do
too.
reverse mortgages. So yeah, we do have a big suite of products. We do have a no income loan that you put 25%, 20 to 25% down. You do need to have at least a 680 credit score for this, but it's a true no income loan. But it does require 25%. So we do have a variety of products that we offer.
And do you have people that assist, like say in credit repair or anything like that?
I actually do have a gentleman that does help with credit repair. We started working with him about 2 months ago because it
Okay.
was very hard to find somebody. Sometimes the credit repair will promise you, and so we found a gentleman that we've been working with, and it's been working out for us. I can always get that information to you, Mary. I don't have it on me right now, but I can definitely get it for you.
No, but that's a good thing because the insurance industry is changing and people with, better credit scores may receive a discount. It's not going to kill your deal with insurance, but some of the carriers have instituted for, discounts. So there's a few. So
Through
that's
your
good to
credit?
know. Yeah. Well, it's like they call it an insurance score. It
Okay.
just they don't get a report on what your credit is. They don't look at your lines of credit or anything like that. It's just like a soft pull on the score to see where you land, but it's very, very minimal.
Well, good to know. Will they do that also on auto insurance?
Oh, they've been doing that for years. Your
Wow.
credit score definitely drives your insurance rates. It always has, but this is new to the homeowner side. Well, I wouldn't say brand new, but in the last 2 or 3 years. Yeah.
Wow, that's good to know. So you see, your credit does matter. I sometimes that's it. There's several programs out there right now. There's Karma. I know a lot of people that use Credit Karma, and there's the annual free report. Annual free credit report is what it's called .com, and you can always go in there. Just always stay on top of your insurance. You would be surprised how many times I run a credit and I'll tell somebody, "Hey, you have a repossession of a car?" No, that never. That's not mine. That never happened to me. And
Yeah.
it's because your identity was somehow stolen. So it's
Right.
very important that you stay on top of that. And not just for financing of a home. You hear Mary saying to us now that it can help you with a lower insurance rate on your auto.
Yeah. Yeah. It's you get a price and then they say, okay, I'll take it. It's always a nice thing to call with good news. Oh, we pulled our final reports and lo and behold, you have a discount and it's going to be this much instead of that much. Very rarely do I get like, oh, it's going to be more, but just because I give them a middle of the road score if the carrier's asking for the score, so it doesn't really change. But if it's good, it drops. It's nice.
Good,
It's nice.
good
It's
to
nice to
know.
be able to be the good
It's
guy.
always nice to get good news, right?
Yeah, yeah, good news.
All right. Does anybody else have any other questions for myself or even for Mary?
Oh, thank you, Eileen.
Of course, of course.
Um, it's really important that, I think in your business that you do have those options and that you do have those connections. So to hear that, is very good to hear. It's very comforting.
Yeah. Yeah, we definitely we try as much to work. I'm very big on team working together because we all have to have the end goal, and the end goal is to have a smooth process for the home buyer because it is the biggest purchase that you're going to make. It's not you're not purchasing a car, you're purchasing a home. You're committing to something for 30 years. You're committing, I mean, you can always sell it, you can always refinance it, of course, but when you commit to purchasing a home, you cannot, it's not like a rental that in 12 months, oh, I'll just go ahead and, we're going to move somewhere else. You have a commitment to the bank for 30 years or 15 years, 25, whatever the term of the life of the loan is for you.
Right. And I think sometimes in your business, it is the long-term game. It's not a quick hit. When you just said that and you thought about 30 years paying for it, that's your financial commitment. So when you said talk to me, first before you go looking, that could be the commitment there and the difference between getting the home and not,
Yes.
if you think long term.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because a lot of people, like I said, they'll go to the realtor first and they'll say, oh, can you show me homes? And the realtor doesn't really know where to start. Even if you think, oh, I want to see homes in the 400,000, but maybe you can get a bigger home, or maybe you won't qualify for that 400,000. So it's
Right.
very important. The numbers is, to me, is always about numbers. That's very, very important, the numbers.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Perfect.
Yes. Any other questions? Okay, guys, so I'm going to go ahead and end our meeting. I want to tell everybody thank you very, very much for showing up on a Saturday, for taking the time out of your schedule today. And if you have any questions whatsoever, please feel free to reach out to me. I will also put on here, even though it's on the link tree, but here is my cell phone number. I put that in the chat as well, and that you can reach me there anytime you like. And any questions, don't be shy, just give me a call. If you think that anybody can benefit from talking to a loan officer, send them my way. We will really appreciate it. And now, again, thank you and enjoy the rest of your Saturday.
Thank you, Eileen. Bye.
Bye,
Thanks again.
guys.
Bye,
Thank
Carrie. Bye,
you.
Levi.